I'm Zef from T21 and welcome to Adventure Ride Chat, the place where all bikes are adventure and where the chat starts here with me but continues with all of us down in that comment area. And if you are new to this segment of T21, please do consider subscribing. Today I want to share with you some tips and some ideas that I have when it comes to motorcycle punctures. I'm not going to be teaching you how to fix a tire. If you want, please hit me down below and I'll make another video just talking about that. And I'm also not going to be discussing moose kits, because that's more towards the racing environment of motorcycling and not something that the large majority of us use on a day-to-day. So let's divide this into tubeless tires and tube tires. For tube tires, first thing I look for when I'm buying mine, I look for the extra thick one. There's many different thicknesses that you can choose for, but I appreciate that extra little bit of safety. It comes with a price tag, but that's what I choose for myself. Also, in all of my tubes, and a lot of people believe that this is just for the normal tires, it is not. It works perfectly on tubes too, is that I choose some kind of liquid. There's many of them in the market, but those liquids that once you have a puncture, it's just gonna fix itself. So that's two things that I do with my tubes always. The third thing is that I pay attention to how long the tube sits inside the wheel. The little nipple that you use to put in and out air from the tube, well, that base is made of metal, and that metal tends to rust over time, and that rust, once it hits a specific point in its life, it's just gonna break, and once it breaks, well, there is nothing you can do except put in a new tube. Another thing I do is that I carry extra tubes with me. A lot of people prefer to take those little patches and take the tube out, fix it, put the same tube back inside the wheel. I prefer, if I need to take a tube out, that one is trash, I'm not going to use it again. When I put a new tube, there's two things that you need to pay very close attention to, and they both work pretty much in the same direction, is don't pinch your tube. Especially on the trail, if you need to use those big tools that you kind of like work your way around the tire, well, it's not uncommon, happened to me a lot of times, I'm sure it's gonna continue to over time, is when I put it inside, I just pinch the tubes ever so slightly, and even if it doesn't puncture right there and then, over time with the stress of the wheel working, it will start leaking air. Another thing that happens is I always put talc around my tube. That's gonna prevent extra rubbing against the rubber of the tire. Over time, we'll do kind of the same thing as pinching. It's just gonna create an air leak that's, well, gonna flatten your tire. So those things do keep that in mind. When it comes to tubeless, well, a few things we need to look for. First, there's parts of the tire that are considered repairable and other not so much. For me, as long as you need to repair one tire because it had a puncture and you do that with plugs, although we're gonna get into that in a second, for me that tire is dead. The tire itself is made out of a mesh. That mesh is gonna give it the resistance it has. And once that mesh is broke, once that mesh is no longer intact because you have a plug inside, well, the resistance of your tire is no longer good. So my best advice is, once you need to plug one, just go to a shop and get a new tire, and if you cannot afford one, start budgeting for one, because it is your safety that we're talking about. But for the plugs, well, it is pretty much like threading a needle inside a tire. That's basically the idea. But there's a few things that people tend to do wrong, or at least I've seen a lot of people do that wrong. Once your plug is inside with your tool inside the tire, kind of like this, you need air inside the tire. If you filled your tire right now in this situation, the air wouldn't come out because it is plugged with the plug, with the glue, with your tool. And when you remove your tool, the plug is gonna go against the tire and is gonna mushroom, creating the seal. If you do not have air inside your tire, there's nothing to force that plug to go back. So it's gonna glue itself on that straight position. So you put air and your plug is either gonna on the spot fly off or over time slide off. And we do not want that to happen. So very important for you to have something other than your plugs with you. May that be those little bottles or a compressor. Personally, I prefer a compressor, but it is extra weight when compared to those little bottles. Another misconception is that if you have a tear that's bigger than just one plug, may that be a slash on the tire or just a really big puncture, is that you're doomed. You are not. You can use multiple plugs to cover the same hole. Obviously, the more plugs you need to use, the faster you need to replace that tire, but as the large majority of things that I speak with you guys about here at Arch is I want to save you guys, I want to save myself when we are on the track and we just need to get to civilization. So if you need to use all of your plugs, all of your friends' plugs to fix one broken tire, well, do use them. It is possible. It takes a little bit more effort, but it is doable. And of course, if you need to do something like that and you ride off, be extra careful when riding, because your tire, if it's not good with one plug, it's definitely not good with several plugs. But these are the things that I look for, these are the things that I pay attention to. I would love to know your opinion, I would love to know how you guys handle punctures, how you prevent them with your preventive maintenance or with the things that you carry with you so you can save yourself on the trail in case you flat. And of course, next Saturday I'm gonna be here with a completely new chat.